The other day I seen someone post, I don't even remember where it was, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but anyway, this woman said she was going to AIP, and I love posts like, I think it was Instagram. She said she was going to AIP, and I looked at her, she made a list on this, like, I don't know, whiteboard or paper, I forget, and she had a list of all the food she was going to eat, go to the grocery store and eat, and it was like list after list of fruit and vegetables, like literally 300 plants on there. Hey health heroes, welcome back to Adamimmune, the channel all about helping you improve your autoimmune health naturally. And today I want to talk about something that I wanted to talk about for a while now. I didn't really know how to conceptualize it. Here's the subject. Is minimalism pushing me in the direction of becoming a carnivore? That is the question, and I'm just going to kind of rant about that today, because I have some small thoughts on that, and I would actually love to hear from you as well, so definitely join the conversation in the comments below. So, over the years, I have contemplated, and I know a lot of people concerned about this. I hear them in the comments, on my Instagram especially and stuff, in my DMs, they slide in there and they leave their comments, and that's totally fine. I like hearing from different people and hearing their thoughts. But ultimately, like, what I hold at the utmost, like what I put on a pedestal of the best knowledge is my personal experience from trial and error, right? I think everyone should do that for themselves. So, am I becoming a carnivore? Well, as you know, I'm not like a hardcore minimalist, but I would say middle of the road maybe. Like, I feel like when it comes to 99% of things in life, less is more, right? So, of course, I put nutrition into that barrel as well. And I wanted to see what I could pull out. Like, what do I absolutely need to survive and thrive? And what can I live without? And if I can live without things, should I be consuming them in the first place, right? That's my thought. Like, what do I not need in this world? Like, if I don't need something, ultimately I think it's probably going to be detrimental to me, my mental health, or my autoimmune health, right? Like, that's kind of the way I think. I thought about a lot about, should I be a carnivore, right? Because, I mean, obviously I've talked a lot about being, okay, so if you're new here, this is going to be very confusing, but I'm on the autoimmune protocol, and I've actually adopted a clean keto lifestyle as well. Seasonally, okay? I'll talk about that in the future, but I believe in seasonal eating. But paleo umbrella overall, right? So I sort of take into all those principles. I really do apply them. Just to clarify, if I eat anything that's not paleo, specifically, except for, I guess I would say ghee, but although that is, most people on paleo do eat ghee, then I would flare, okay? Everything, absolutely everything, all right? So some people ask me about that sometimes. But anyway, so less is more, minimalism. I know definitely minimalism is a good thing, right? Because this modern world, like, we're indoors all the time, there's mold, and we live in cars, and like, none of this stuff has been good for our health, right? Except maybe modern medicine, but we only need that modern medicine because we live in this, like, modern fancy box. We live in a box, right? Like, everywhere we go, we're in a box and we have these fluorescent lights on us. It's not healthy, right? We all know that. And of course, then we have our prepared meals of peasant food. Some people probably aren't going to like that. This video is not about grains. Specifically, I want to talk about fruits and vegetables. And really, I don't want to get into fruit. I mainly want to talk about vegetables because everyone seems to think, like, vegetables are like where it's at. Like, oh, if I eat 15 vegetables today, I get 10 cups of vegetables, I'm going to be healthy. Well, I know people that eat tons of vegetables and they get cancer and die, okay? So it's not the vegetables that are going to heal you, okay? Although some people are going to be like, well, Adam, vegetables are healthy, but they're eating a bad diet. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So it's like someone could go from the standard American diet to a vegan diet and actually have great results temporarily, right? Temporarily, then it seems their health fails over, several years, and they basically most of them, what is it, 84, 85% go back to eating meat? It's a really high percentage. But most diets have a pretty big fail rate anyway, so I shouldn't really compare that to anything. But let's talk about going from the standard American diet to paleo, which is what I did. I didn't see huge results, some improvement, but then when I went AIP, obviously within weeks, like, massive improvements, and then a few months remission, and then a year after that I was able to stay in remission. So obviously this works, right? Now, would I have gone, let's say if I went vegan, what would have happened? Would I have went Would I have had massive results like I did? Would I have healed? Would I be in remission right now? Would I stay in remission? Would I be so happy? Would I have all this energy? Like all day, I'm like this, okay? I do not have slumps. I do not have mood swings. I am like just neutral all the time. Like anytime you see me, this is how I am. Maybe I'm not as outgoing because I'm sort of shy. I'm like an introvert, especially at like work. But when I'm here, obviously it's just me and the camera, so it's a lot easier. But anyway, I'm always at this, I don't want to say high. I don't really have like, I don't know, sometimes I get highs, but most of the time I'm just like right here. I'm in a good place, right? But would I have got that if I had been plant-based? I mean, I guess in the before time, I probably would have considered myself plant-based. I never would have said vegan. I never liked veganism. It never made sense to me. I will go into that in another video, but veganism is really for children, okay? And I know that sounds really mean, but I have my reasons, okay? And I care about people's health. And I have an opinion. And I have a right to that. Everyone has a right to that. So if you disagree, leave it in the comments. Totally cool. Now, I mean, I guess you could say I've experimented. I've eaten less protein or, well, let's say meat. All right, let's say animal products, actually. I've experimented. I've gone a couple days without it. And I feel terrible. And you really can't say your results after a couple days because, you know, any diet, you're going to have ups and downs, and especially changing any diet, you're going to have terrible results, especially the first days. It takes a couple weeks, maybe a month or 3 months to see any real results, so that really doesn't make any sense, okay? But I do get very sick if I don't eat animal products. I just have a drop. Like, I just have no energy. I feel like, the last time I did it, I felt like blood issues were starting to come back, or blood sugar issues. And you might argue, oh, what were you eating? I was still eating paleo. So you can't put that on. I was eating clean. I will be eating clean for the rest of my life. This is the question. It really plagues me. I think about this, the last year especially, I thought about this like day and night. It really bothers me because, to be honest, I don't have like a thorough answer. I don't have a complete answer. In fact, I don't think a lot of people can give you an answer. A lot of people have an opinion, but they don't know. You know, they know, maybe they'll know from trial and error, but most of the people I hear talking about, oh, eat so many plants, they're talking about, like, theoretical science, mechanisms in our body, you know, like, and then I look at the science and I'm like, well, this isn't good. I can just eat this instead, or I could just do this instead. I don't need to eat 10 cups of vegetables. It just doesn't make sense. And to me, it feels like a backup mechanism, right? Like, I can eat butyrate. I don't have to make it from eating plants, from fermenting them in my colon. It doesn't make sense. I can eat grass-fed ghee, right? I don't need to do that. But then you could argue, well, you need to do that so it breaks it down and you feed the good gut bacteria in your body. What do I need that gut bacteria? Why do I need massive amounts of that gut bacteria there if I'm not eating the plants in the first place, though, right? Why don't I just eat the butyrate, stay healthy? Why do I need that? I don't need that. That's why I think our bodies have so many backup systems, and people just think, oh, well, it can do this, so it should do this. No, I disagree with that completely. Just because your body can do something doesn't mean it should do that. And then there are so many other bioavailable foods that break down easier, digest easier. We absorb more nutrition from them, the better nutrition that we don't even have to convert. Like from animal products. This is why I have not decided. I am not coming to a conclusion in this video. If you're expecting me to tell you what to eat, how to eat, it's not the case. I'm going to give you an example of how I eat in all my videos, right? You can follow me, you can not. You can eat the way I do, you can not. But I always recommend you trial and error and see what works for you, okay? So just because I'm meat-based, maybe that's not the answer for you. But to me, looking at the science and the data, like, people throw their own bias at it. And like, that didn't work for me. Being meat-based, to me, isn't eating mostly meat, right? Maybe I do, maybe I don't some days, okay? Being meat-based means it's a nutritional way of life, okay? I look at what nutrients am I getting in my diet, and obviously, like I said, the most bioavailable forms of those nutrients that are easily absorbed by humans in the normal human way of digestion, it's from animal products every time. You can take the example, and I think I've used this before, with vitamin A, right? There are two forms of vitamin A. Really, there's one, but we'll get to that in a second. So basically, retinol is the animal form of vitamin A, right? It is easily absorbed. We don't have to convert it. It's what our body needs, and a lot of people are very deficient in vitamin A. Probably because they don't eat liver, but I digress. If you eat carrots, that is a beta-carotenoid, right? So it's not vitamin A, but we can convert to vitamin A, retinol, right? Why do they allow it to be called vitamin A on the can or the box or the plastic wrap it comes in? It is not vitamin A. It has to be converted into that, right? And then you eat, let's say, a pound of that, right? 85%, well, it doesn't matter how much you eat of it. 85% of that, up to 85%, has to be burned off to convert that, okay? Like we lose 85% about, it's different for everybody, right? In the conversion, right? Into retinol. Now, that's going to be different for other people, a lot of people, but apparently people with autoimmune disease are damaged in the way of our gut, right? So we don't digest or absorb as well as everyone else in the first place. So if you're plant-based, you have gut issues, let's say you have leaky gut, intestinal permeability, what's the best food for you to eat? Is it to get vitamin A? Is it a carrot? Is it? I don't know. I just see this everywhere, and a lot of people are concerned that I really am becoming a carnivore. They really are, and I think it's funny because, like, would that be so bad? Would that be so bad? Now, I don't recommend carnivore, right? Okay? Except if you have intolerances to all plant foods, right? But of course, I would suggest you try carnivore for 30 days as a reset. I've certainly done that many times. Or not always for 30 days, sometimes just for a week or two. I think that's great. I don't think you should do it for a long time, especially if you're trying to find your food triggers. Okay, let me tell you this. The other day I seen someone post, I don't even remember where it was, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but anyway, this woman said she was going to AIP. And I love posts like, I think it was Instagram. She said she was going to AIP, and I looked at her, she made a list on this, like, I don't know, whiteboard or paper, I forget. And she had a list of all the food she was going to eat, go to the grocery store and eat. And it was like list after list of fruit and vegetables, like literally 300 plants on there. And and there was like maybe a couple, I think it was chicken and like something else on there. Like, that is not, I had to comment. And I feel bad. Like, I hate critiquing people, especially if they're going AIP. Like, give them a few months, let them learn. But then I'm like, oh, well, I want to help them. I don't want them to waste their time. Like, I wasted my time for a long time failing. God, I failed. It probably wouldn't have taken a year to learn to stay in remission if someone had told me all this stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what this channel is for, though, right? So anyway, I was like, hey, you're doing great. Awesome. Congrats. I'm so glad you're going to AIP. I hope you find a miracle like I found. You know, that's usually just kind of what floats to my head first. Like, I'm very happy when anybody goes to AIP. It's like, especially when people find it's hard to find, and then you actually decide to do it. That's amazing, especially because you know what you have to give up, right? You have to give up a lot of things, but it's totally worth it, of course. But anyway, I had to let her know, hey, you know, just to save you time, maybe not so many plants. Like, maybe less is more. Like, maybe gather a list. Like, I made that video. It's one of my most popular videos. The 7, I didn't tell her this, I'm telling you this. The 7 most popular, or the 7 foods I eat every day to stay in remission or whatever. Well, in that video I talked about how I had a list of like 7 safe foods, and that's what worked for me, and that really did speed up my recovery and healing and finding my triggers faster, like having a short list, right? I still believe that, okay? Of course I believe it, okay? Because it worked, and it works for a lot of people. But a lot of people have a tough time doing that, like coming up with, I usually say like 7 to 10 safe foods list. It's hard to find those safe foods, and you have to trial and error, and I recommend rotating foods in and out to find what works for you in the beginning. But again, I'll talk about that in a future video. I'm going to try to make a long story short here. You won't find remission eating 100,000 different plant foods, okay? It won't happen. You're going to have intolerances to tons of them, maybe even up to half of them or more. Like, it happens, okay? But the thing is, maybe just because you have an intolerance to something doesn't mean that a plant food is bad, though, right? I want to get to the other side of this, okay? Because I feel like I'm being very meat-centric here, which I am, but just because I'm meat-based doesn't mean I don't believe that, or doesn't mean that I believe we shouldn't eat plant foods at all, right? Of course I do. Whenever you look at my Instagram posts, there's usually plants in my meals, right? So why do I talk like this? Because I can tolerate those foods. I enjoy them. And why wouldn't I eat them if I enjoy them? And I have, like, I'm not saying I have perfect health, but I have no health issues that I can think of off the top of my head, and all the health issues I had before, they're all in remission. So, I mean, yeah. Where I get where people get, or I get where people get the thinking of plant foods are toxic, right? Because, you know, they have so many intolerances and they stumble, and it's like, oh, they see someone else eating that, but they can't eat it, so they assume it's toxic for absolutely everyone. And I have made that mistake. I want to admit right now, I have had those thoughts early on, probably even while I first started this channel. I used to think, if I can't eat it, it's toxic for absolutely everyone, and no one should eat it. It's amazing we can learn from our own mistakes. It's even better if we can learn from others, though. That's harder to do, though. I feel like that's a lot harder to do. But anyway, I learned my mistake, okay? But there are some things that obviously I'm triggered to, that most people are going to be triggered to, and of course there's reasons for that, okay? And those reasons are what stick out in my mind and make me think, hey, this is a toxic food, no one should be eating this. Like pork, okay? I know a lot of people can tolerate it, but it's probably not a good idea to eat it. But then again, there I go again. Maybe it's healthy for somebody. Maybe a poor omega-6 ratio is great for somebody. Oh, but Adam, I get my pastured pork. Oh, but yeah, do you know what those pigs eat? I feel like this camera setting's off. Do you know what those pigs eat in the wild, guys? They eat garbage. They eat dead things. They eat their own dead friends, okay? Is that the kind of animal that you would eat? Would a cow do that? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not a cow farmer. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. I don't like eating, though. I feel like that's a dirty animal. It's just not right. It's bugging me. All right? I'll figure it out. I'll get it. No worries. Anyway, I don't think plants are bad. I hear this from I have a lot of, I'm not saying, not like a lot of carnivore friends, but I watch a lot of carnivores on YouTube, and they always talk about how plants are toxic and they're full of anti-nutrients and phytates and whatever. And yeah, that might be true. There might be phytates in the food or lectins or whatever, but you might be able to tolerate some of them. And not only that, a small amount might be even good for you. I mean, you go exercise, right? You go to the gym, and you know, you're breaking down muscles. Is it bad to break down muscles? But then that's how you do it, to build it back up, right? These stressors can make us stronger over time. And I think that's how it is. That's like an environmental stressor. It makes us stronger in the long run. It gives us more resilience to inflammation. So maybe that's why some of these carnivores, they go carnivore for 6 months or a year and they just can't add any vegetables back. They lose the resilience. So if they do add them back and they fail and fail and fail, maybe then they can tolerate it. And that might be an enzyme issue as well. There's digestive issues and then there's flaring, okay? So you may have a full-blown autoimmune issue, an anti-inflammatory attack from eating these foods, but you may also have digestive issues on the back end, right? There's all kinds of issues, all right? So you're going to have to find what works for you. You're going to have to play with it a little bit, all right? So maybe, and if you have problems with leafy greens, try a different leafy green, okay? So many people point to like oxalates. Well, maybe you're intolerant to oxalates, maybe, okay? That certainly could be. You absolutely could be. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're intolerant to that certain food. Like I am intolerant to so many fruits, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I just can't eat fruit. I'm going to find what I can eat and find what I can't. Do the legwork. Be a hero. Find your triggers. Don't be like, oh no, fruit's bad, I just can't eat fruit. Fruit's bad, okay? Clearly, fruit is a human food, okay? At least part of the year. Duh. Some of them, not all fruits. Some of them are like man-made, right? Bananas. But, well, I'll go into that in another video. But, like, a food that was designed, yeah, I'm saying designed. You don't like it? Too bad. A food that was designed for humans, we should eat. If it wasn't, we shouldn't. It's pretty clear. We can't eat the way these animals eat and find perfect health, right? Because we're not them. We have a different system altogether. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, we're more like a carnivore. We're more like a whatever, rabbit or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're not like any of them, okay? We're human. We're not like any of them. We're not like a chimpanzee. We're not like a gorilla. We're as equally far from a gorilla as we are from a cow, okay? And it just makes no sense, okay? I've even said it. I spread this stupid myth. Like, yes, our pH may match like something like a scavenger, like, you know, a vulture or a cat. And yes, our digestive system may look more like a wolf's than it does a rabbit's. And rabbits eat their own poo to get all the nutrition. Back again, do you eat your own poo? Do you want to eat your own poo? Become a vegan then, okay? But all this other stuff doesn't make sense. We don't ferment. We can't ferment very much things, okay? Like, try fermenting as much as a cow does, okay? It has 4 stomachs. You have 1. Gorillas can ferment in this, what is it, the cecum? They have a special place in their stomach to ferment plant foods, right? So they can actually utilize that. I think they can get up to like, what is it, 60% of their energy? I don't know. It's a lot, all right? They can get most of their energy from the fermentable plant matter that turns into saturated fat, right? Okay, so they're keto too, even though they can eat more carbs, but they can be keto too. We're all keto as long as we're eating what we're supposed to eat. Okay, even a cow might be keto because all that grass is turning into fat. How do you not know this by now? All you biophysicists talking about eating plant foods, we can only digest, we can get 10% of our energy from that way, okay? 10%. So obviously, we should be eating mostly fat in the first place, especially if you had gut issues and it hurts your gut to eat all these plant foods, and it should. We are human, we are like nothing else on the planet. We are special, okay? And our brains require things. You're like, oh, they require sugar. Do you know how much sugar is in your blood? What is it, like a teaspoon or something? I don't know. It's a very small amount. It stays there, and we keep it balanced. And we can create that sugar by eating fat and protein. We don't even need to eat it. If it were so necessary to eat sugar and to have carbs, how come you can go completely without it and survive? And yes, seasonal eating, all you keto people are like, yes, amen, stay away from carbs. But all you plant people are like, no, you need this. I'm not on either side, okay? I believe in keto, but I believe in seasonal eating. I believe you should absolutely eat these carbs some time of the year because, okay, I put it this way. If you weren't meant to run on glucose all year round, why would we be wanting to run on ketones all year round primarily? Yes, it is a more efficient system, but you can wear out any system. Let's go back and forth. Let's have a balance. Not an equal balance, but a balance. My hand's going further up. Less sugar, guys. Less carbs. Less carbs that turn to sugar. Less starches. Some starches. Some starches are fine. Keto does not like carbs. Or they don't like, well, they don't like carbs. They don't like carbs, which is fine. But they don't like starches. The thing is, what I agree with these plant-based people is we need a certain amount of starch, okay? We would have eaten starch when we had it, okay? Certain amount of time of the year, small amounts, or if you want to eat all year round, limited. If you want to eat a food that humans couldn't have eaten thousands of years ago, it's probably a good idea to limit it, right? I'm not telling you anything you probably don't know already. I don't know. You should know this, okay? Put this in your backup. Put this in your data. Put this in your head, okay? That's why you should definitely limit fruit. You only would have had fruit for not, depending where you were on the planet, less than half the year, right? Less than half the year. Probably a lot less. So just keep that in mind, okay? That we are humans of nature, of this planet. We can't have our own system. We have to go off the system that's available, not to us now, but that would have been available to us then, okay? Because that's what we were designed and built on, okay? We were built over millions of years to eat a certain way. Do you think we would have eaten 50 or 100 different plant foods for all around the planet during the Ice Age? How did we survive? How, I wonder. Do you think about that, guys? Do you ever think about the Ice Age diet? Vegans, fish. Fish is like perfect. Fish is the perfect food, okay? It has the omega-3s, if you're eating clean fish, wild caught. It has the omega-3s, it has all the vitamins and minerals needed. If we eat the whole fish, we get everything, even the brain, we get everything, absolutely everything. Even Jesus ate fish, right? Are you better than Jesus? Minimalism is very important to me. Very important, because literally it has never let me down. Anytime I put any of my thoughts through the minimalism ringer, it always makes it better. Like everything is better with less, which is maybe this video would have been best as a 2-minute video, but now it's probably going to be like, I don't even know. So, is minimalism making me a carnivore? The answer is, I actually thought it might have been for a while, but as of right now, no. I'm not becoming a carnivore. I went meat-based, but that didn't change the way I was actually eating. It's just a label. And actually, I didn't used to like labels, but I like this one. Is carnivore a bad thing? No. I mean, if you have to do that, go for it. If you have all these food intolerances, if you want to do a reset and, you know, try that out and then add foods back in, fine. Okay, a lot of people have to do that. I know that. And for people that are severely intolerant, that's probably what I'll recommend. But there's usually going to be things that I recommend first. Getting with a good functional medicine doctor, checking to see if you have parasites, a SIBO, some of these infections or even viruses, okay? You may have to address so many issues, okay? Sometimes diet is not enough. And sometimes diet is enough, but it takes years. If you're not worried about your meat nutrition, your nutrition from animal foods first, you're very likely to become deficient, okay? And the thing is, you could say, oh, that's not true. It's so common. You guys, Look up deficiencies. It's so common. And even with people that have a paleo plant-based lifestyle, like they're very deficient. I see so many people are anemic, like maybe you don't enjoy eating the meat. I get that. Okay, that I can understand. Personally, I've never experienced that. I love meat. I've always loved it. In fact, when I was a kid, I probably would have been happy just eating meat if we could afford that. But we couldn't afford that, and we didn't do that. And it was tater tot casserole every other day. It was awful. I want to think that vegetables are healthy, and I to an extent, I do think they are. I'm not saying plants don't have their place. Again, I eat them, and I just don't know to what extent they are good. And what I do know is less is more, okay? That's one thing I know for sure about plants. Leave your comments in the comment section. I want to hear what you think about this. Eat your meat. Or don't, whatever. More for me. If everyone goes out and buys it, the price is going to raise up and it's going to be more expensive to obtain grass-fed, clean meats. I think my takeaway here is I'm just going to keep going the way I'm going right now. It's great. Meat-based, eating the plants that I like and enjoy that make me feel great. I mean, pretty simple, right? If your diet doesn't make you feel good and amazing, you're doing it wrong. And that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, do that. Click the notification bell there. Drop a like. See you later.